Hello, I'm Liz. I'm from Barnardo's Kirklees Young Carers Service, and today we have Chris with us, who is one of our young adult carers. So this is a conversation with Chris for Carers Week. Chris, the theme of Carers Week this year is visibility. So in our conversation, it would be good to get your thoughts on how we can increase visibility for young carers in particular. But I thought, just for everybody watching, it would be good to talk a little bit about how we first met and what you've got from working with the service, things like that. So from my memory, we met quite a few years ago now when you were still at school. And that was a time that, from my impression, that wasn't always easy for you. So as a starter, maybe if you could talk a little bit about school, about yourself at that time, knowing that you were a young carer, what might have helped you, what might have made things easier?
Yeah, well, I think we met around year 10 or year 11. And the thing that first got me involved in the service was I was referred by the school council or something like that. And high school was a difficult time for me because not realizing that I was a young carer when I was, looking after my mom, helping with my sisters and my brother who is also autistic. It was very difficult to balance that and school, which I also found extremely difficult because I would have sleep problems, I would have various other problems. And I feel like that whilst being a young carer, having noticed that earlier would have been a tremendous help, probably. And I would say that some of the things that would have helped me more is if schools are actively looking for it in a way. So they sometimes do some surveys, or they could just ask or mention it, such as Carers Week. They could mention it around then. And I went through quite a lot of little health services. Some were helpful, some were not. And then Barnardo's has definitely been one of the best ones because I was with people around my age. I was with people who are in a similar situation with me. And it was nice to be able to relate to someone and not feel like you're being judged. And you don't even have to explain yourself because we're all there for the same reason. And it's something to do with that sense of belonging and no judging, a place you can go to interact with other people and just have fun whilst, you help each other. Now, you don't have to do it, but just them being there and knowing that you're not alone in a situation like being a young carer, I find is extremely helpful.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks, Chris. So that was kind of school, and I know since then life's moved on, you've moved on. I know that you're still part of Kirklees Young Carers, Young Adult Carer Group. Can you talk a little bit about that, what the group is, how other people might find out more about it, thinking about visibility again, and also what kind of things the group does, what do you get involved in?
Absolutely. Well, with the group, we have meetings every couple of months. It can be little social activities. It can vary from going bowling, going to a park, or just meeting at our meet point and, having a laugh, talking about our week, just spending time together in general. And it's nice because, people are your age, we're at college, so we all have something similar to talk about. We can talk about our opinions and talk openly about things that are somewhat hard to talk about now because it's hard to find the right person to communicate with. And, it's ran very well. There's always food. There's always something to, there's always something that you can do. And it's nice when other people are there because, sometimes there's only one, there's two, but more because I'd say we've been out there a little more. More people have come to the service, and it's nice when that happens because, especially when they stay, because you just feel like you're helping and being part of the group. As that's what we're meant to do. We're all there for each other, and that's definitely one of the things that I have found the most helpful. Because being a young carer, you don't always have time to go outside, but when you have a dedicated time for a service that helps you, you're a little bit more relaxed. You feel like it's okay. And it's just, at the end of the day, it's not as hard as you first thought it was.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know you've got other exciting things going on in your life as well at the moment, Chris. Particularly you work with NHS England. So could you tell us a bit more about that and what you're doing for visibility for young people, but also particularly for young carers?
Yes, well, last year I applied for the Children's and Young People's Transformation Board for the NHS. And I got accepted. There was 4 people out of a few hundred people, so I was very proud of that. And the main reason I applied to that is because through my experiences through the mental side of the NHS and the physical side, I thought that because they've helped me develop so much in my life, that I especially wanted to give back. And for the group at Barnardo's, it's nice to feel like I can be a voice and have input directly from young people, and to prove that young people can be out there, we can still have time to do this, and that equally you are not alone. So the board focuses mainly on younger people in general, and that's why we've got people aging from 12 to 23. So we have varying degrees of age, people with different experiences, and we're hoping that we can bring that together to change the young people's health services and mental sides for the better, and make things a little bit easier, wait times a little less, and things more noticeable in the long run.
Excellent. That sounds brilliant, Chris. We'll look forward to hearing more about that as you get into it. I guess finally, something that's on everybody's minds at the moment is the COVID-19 and lockdown. How do you think that affects carers particularly? How can we think about carers during this time, and what's your experience been?
Well, my experience is, because my mum has some disabilities that restrict her movement. Obviously, I stay here, and I've started cooking, which I am actually really enjoyed. I always thought it would be this big, hard task, but I started with recipe books. I started doing some baking, and even if it goes wrong, we can try again another day. But my experience is, it was very hard in the first couple of months because there was a lot of unsurety. No one's ever gone through something like this. School stopped. That just hasn't happened before. And for young kids, I was lucky because in the first, in the second month, I was able to go to my dad's, and that was my little break. Because, whilst I still help my dad out, I don't have to do as much. It's not breakfast, lunch, and dinner isn't directly on me. Anything that needs done, house chores. But we were able to work out a routine because there's no school. So the days don't exactly matter, as in, they're just days. So having that break really helped me. And one thing that I didn't think would help me as much is I started going on a really small walks, and I started walking my dog more around the block. And it's nice, 15-minute walk, and it's just a way to express myself because I get out, it's sunny, I love nature, and it's just that 15 minutes that I know is my alone time. And I think one of the most detrimental things in such unfortunate times like this is, whilst you are looking after other people, you need to make sure that you are looking after yourself at the end of the day, because if you're not looking after yourself, how are you meant to look after other people?
Absolutely. That's great. Brilliant advice, Chris. Absolutely. So thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody listening. That's Chris's story. So thank you very much.